Code injection techniques exploits security vulnerabilities which occurs in the
Chapter 3,
database
Part
layer.
1.
So this presents this
Chapter 4,
vulnerability
Part 1.
presents when the user input is incorrect filters, or the escape characters embedded in the SQL statement. So user input is not strongly typed and come out with the unexpected executions. So this is what is SQL injection, right? We can simply put in some embed some JavaScript code inside a user input by just filling putting some special characters inside the user input. So this is how the SQL injections happen. So this is what is the SQL injection and how it happens. How it happens. This is the explanation. If you want to put in the examples of how it happens, because you not remembers exactly how to rewrite the whole things during the final exam, and that's how it happens. You can use the examples to explain it instead of you struggles cannot memorize this one. How it happens, right? Because of this is the escape characters embedded in the SQL statement. Examples like that is right. This is the SQL statements. We take it from the user input. And then how to embed it is embedded together inside this one, right? Because we join the test together. So you can use this type of examples to further explain how it happens, especially if you're not able to if you're not able to explain like this, you still need to explain the simplest way, and then advanced examples to let the lecturers understand you want to explain like this. With the examples, put it inside your SQL code. How this class selects whatever things from select all from the user tables where the username and password equal to from the variables, and these variables or that variable actually is from the text box dot text use plus to join it. That this is SQL's injection and how it happens. SQL injection and how it happens. And based on the explanations in 2B1, is it possible that SQL injection occurs in the login ASPS justify your answer? So then in that B, right? In this number two, number two, you need to justify. Then you need to come up with some form related things. Username, passwords, and then together with this SQL statements also. Together with these SQL statements, so that we know that the characters or special characters that the users purposely key in inside here can be embedded inside these SQL statements and cause the SQL injections. Your answer is not directly from this one, because of the question is when the user login using username and password. So your answer is supposed to be using username and password. SQL statement also need to base on the username and password. Already. Yeah. Okay. Explain SQL injection, how it happens. Okay. And based on stats concatenations examples, apply it inside the username and passwords, and show how it happens. Okay. And then number 3, suggest and explain the best methods to prevent SQL injection and provide the examples. Okay. So this one is using parameterized query methods. Okay. Parameterized query methods pass the parameter with SQL parameters, okay, from the command class, okay, and justify your answers using the examples. You need to come up with settings. Okay. The form with the username and password, right? Okay, so you need to have the SQL statement. Okay. You need to select from the user tables, okay, where the username equal to what, okay, and then the password equal to what, using the parameter, and this SQL statements you need to show, okay, this parameter, okay, add with the value. So you have to add with the values. From these few slides, SQL injections, okay, the problem happened because of the concatenations, okay, and the present way is using parameterized query method. Okay, so we continue with this chapter 5. We go to this chapter 5. Okay. Repeat again. Nice students, remember to send me an apology letter because of you take the attendance by your absence last week. So membership and role management. Okay. So authorizations and authentications are the ones that we normally put inside our web application. Is we will use form authentication. Okay. And using a Visual Studio, when you do your Paragraph 5, right? You will see the login related controls available inside the Visual Studio IDE. And authorizations, we need to do some setting in our web.config as well. Okay. And role also we're able to manage, but that one might need to use some scoring way. Okay. Got Windows ways, but depends on the Windows that we use. Okay. Windows Server definitely have the features that we can very easily to configure it, the rules. Okay. When we use Windows Server using IIS server, okay, and that's the Windows Server things. Okay, it is a good tools that provided by the Microsoft for us to manage the role. Okay, Windows desktops use some way still able to go through that UI related tools. Okay, but the lab computers or the computer in the uni is not able to show it because of it will need administrator's privilege that only able to go there. But if I able to show, I can show. If no, then cannot show. Okay, so web security. Okay, so website rely on identify users to provide access permission to data or the functions. Okay, so system information linkage, web servers, arrows, staff, partners, organizations, search engines can all be the source of the information about our website. Okay, or our web apps, technologies, business logic, security method, etc. Okay, so this type of informations, it is for the attackers to attack for the advantages. Okay, so that we need to always avoid to leak our system information. Basic principles. Authentication is the process to verify the identity of the user or the computers. So to verify who, how you prove who are you. Okay, so normally if we use strong authentication, then username and password is the ones that we use. Okay, nowadays we have a lot of two-way authentications. Okay, using more security way. Okay, other than just the user and password, like the SMS tokens. Okay. Authorizations. This is the process. Okay, to determine what a user or a group of users is permitted to do on a computer or networks, or to use the resources. So we use to verify what are you allowed to do. So examples like we have different roles, admin, members, normal user. So ASP.NET, we have the membership management service, which we use to deal with the authentications. Allows the user to access the page or the entire website. Provide the login controls to work with the end users through the process of authentication. So ASP.NET also have role management service. So this is authentications. Means we have the credentials like username and passwords. We go through the steps like the system check if we have the credentials and the credentials correct. If correct, then go for authorizations. Checks who is the user, able to use what type of resources, and go to resources 1 or resource 2. So this is authentication and authorization. Authentications, we have form authentication, Windows authentications, Microsoft accounts, social login. These are few types of authentications. Windows authentications normally when we access to the web server or access to the Windows server, we will need to put in our users credentials, username or password, to go for that Windows account. This one's normally provided in Windows Server. I say Windows Server is Windows Server and Windows Desktop. The one that we have in our desktop or in our laptop is Windows Desktop version. Okay. Another one Microsoft provides is Windows Server version. Okay. Windows Server versions normally, okay, you will use it, okay, when we need to make a web server. Okay. We maybe need to purchase a Windows Server version. And the web servers provided in that Windows Server version is IIS server. It's not open source. Open source is Apache. Open source. Okay. Windows servers, okay, is under Microsoft, so everything's actually in the thing. Okay. Like this Windows servers, right? Okay. If you launch Windows Server, okay, you will know what is Active Directories, which the admins, okay, will use this type of Windows-related account tools, okay, to create account for the users or the Windows account users to access to their Active Directory. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, the Windows, okay, Active Directory is Windows account. Okay, so the steps, Windows authentications. Okay, login page, okay, pass the user credentials to a web server. So the web server is IIS, okay, IIS link with Windows Active Directory. Okay, and then forward the request to ASP.NET, okay, execute the request, okay, using CLR. Okay, so web server will handle the authentications using whichever methods, okay, which configured in the virtual directories under this, okay, Active Directory. Okay, this is the steps of Windows authentications. Steps. Okay, so this one is Microsoft account. Okay, this is like when we use Hotmail or Live.com, or the previously is MSN.com. Okay, and we use one account to access to more than one Microsoft related account. The one is the Microsoft account. Okay. So this Microsoft accounts, the steps, okay, steps, login page pass the credentials to a web server. Okay, so HTTP credentials, or we call it ticket, okay, pass to IIS web server. Okay, IIS web server forward it to forward the request to ASP.NET, okay, and then the authentication done in this Microsoft service or Microsoft or password services. Okay, pass the ticket, okay, which the login credentials pass to a Microsoft passport server, where the user profile are stored centrally under Microsoft account. Okay, Live.com or Hotmail.com. Okay, nowadays we don't have MSN.com already. Okay, after that, ASP.NET execute the request. Okay. Social authentications, or we call it social login. Okay, which we use the socials account, examples like Facebook, Google account. This type of authentication, we call it social authentication. Okay, and okay, these social authentications we use OAuth and OpenID. Okay, so when you need to try to implement this social account, okay, nowadays a lot of documentations with the steps can try. Once you have your system, if you really need to build, okay, for a company, they will require, okay, OAuth login, OAuth authentication. Okay, and when I see go to search OAuth, right, you will see a lot of, okay, tutorials with the steps guide you how to implement this OAuth. Yeah, so this is social authentication. And a lot of API is provided. You don't need to write very long code. Okay, nowadays compared to the earlier years when they first introduced this social authentication. So this is a form of single sign-on using existing login information from the social networks. Examples like Meta, Twitter's, Google Plus. Twitter's no more, right? Okay, X. Okay, Meta X, Google Plus still Google Plus, right? Okay. So the important terms here, and you need to explore more on this social authentication. All of is the technologies we use. Okay, all of this is open protocols to allow secure authorizations in a simple and standard way. Yeah, so there's some graph related to the social one. So the normal ways that we implement in our web application is the form authentication. So the normal way is with the username and password. And these ones you will normally store in your database. Okay, either using calling way or use the methods provided in Visual Studio IDE. Okay, so form authentication, the step for this form authentication, login request, fill in a form, submit it to the server, and it go to the IIS server. This IIS server is the one that whenever you do your practicals, right, you run it, you debug it, and it actually will start the IIS. But the IIS that come together with our Visual Studios, Visual Studio is IIS Express. If we use Windows Server versions, means compared with our Windows desktop, then that one's Windows Server version automatically have this IIS server installed. Okay, so HTTP credentials get passed to the IIS server. Okay, and then when the server receives the request, the cookie is returned to the user local machine, and this cookie is passed back to the server in the browsers with each request. When the user sends the request, and that request requires the authentications. So it will remain the user authentications using that cookies. So this is form authentication. Web server IIS forward requests to ASP.NET authentication. Settings executes the request. So login page request. This is just a scenario only. Request. And then another scenarios. Settings. Advantages and disadvantages. Window authentications suitable to use if we use Windows server, Windows intranet infrastructures. Some of our company outside, especially those factory, right? They actually use this type of Windows intranet infrastructures. And they will configure when you go in, to work in that factory as IT related persons. So they will create an active directories account for you to use their Windows intranet infrastructure. That one is for intranet. At the same time, have the IIS account, right? IIS server. So their website, the company websites, that is normally will deploy in their Windows server as well. That means that all the employees will have the active directory account. At the same time, the company website, whatever applications they build, also using the same Windows server. This is what I see now when I go for few factory in our KL areas, Johor areas also. Still use this one, but slowly slowly will move to cloud, or some of those companies actually is moving to cloud. Form authentications easy to implement. Microsoft account, a single sign-on, integrate with other Microsoft service. Examples like Azure. Xbox no more, right? Skype also not a lot of people use today. Yes. Disadvantages of window authentications is not suitable if the web application resides outside the organization's intranet. Okay. I need to maintain our own database if we use form authentications. Using Microsoft accounts maybe have some fees involved. Okay, and need to use some protocols. Okay, examples like the OpenID. Web security issue, broken authentication and session management attack. If the authentications, authorization, and session management can be circumvented or alters, the user maybe can access resources which they are not allowed to. Authentication system involve the passwords, the key management, the session ID, the cookies, which can allow the hacker to access our account from any computers. Security measurements. So we need to be aware of how the password reminders, remember me, change password, logout, and updating account details are handled, and how the session tokens are used. So always have the login form, and the standard one at least need to have SSL, or nowadays they call it TSL. Use HTTPS rather than HTTP. When our website, our web applications go for productions. So there are some other security measurements like always ask ourselves, are the user credential weak? Can that credential be guessed? Are the session IDs exposed to the URL? Are the session ID vulnerable to the any session related attacks? Do we apply the ID timeouts? Automatically lock out the users within a period. So this is the questions, the answer which we go through the slide just now already. This is the ones that's in your paragraph 5. So paragraph 5 is the ones use the ASP registers SQL tools. This one means that this is the ones that we can see under Windows Studio, and you will see this command prompts. Command prompts. This one will open here. Then this one means that we type in this ASP nets register SQL here. Go through it. Go through it, right? And you will have after we go through that one. Our database is this database, right? This is our database. And this database. So after we use this command, we put next, something like that one is paragraph 5, and it will generate the tables, something look like this. So this is provided in ASP.NET, but I personally think that this type of table is quite complicated now, since our systems is actually simple system. But you can choose to use it or choose not to use it. If you choose to use it, right, this is the paragraph 5. You have the steps on using the authentications rules, authentications management tools. And it will generate the database table like this. So if you don't want to use it, means that paragraph 5 still need to do what? Means that you need to generate your own tables, like your user table with your password, credential, everything inside the tables. Yeah. Okay. So when we use these commands to generate those tables for that authentication management tools, okay, and this is the connection string. Connection string we use a lot, okay, when we start to do our particle form, okay, and I always say that don't cut it by yourself, okay. Go to Max the Visual Studio, generate it. If don't have, right, just simply drag the SQL source to it. Go to the next. Okay. Let this SQL source generate this one for us, and don't try to type it. Okay. So means that we use this one. Whatever database we use, we will need the connection string in our web configuration. Web.config. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So standard one, accept this, right? Database.mdf. The connection strings, we always text with default name connection string. This is not the default name already. Yeah? Okay. And one application, okay, whenever we drag one data source, right, you will see the tools come out, ask you to go to next. Okay. Whenever you go to next, okay, more than one time, you will always generate a set of this connection string. Actually, no need. Okay, one connection string enough. Yeah. If you already generate one time, no need to go through again those next. Just close it, or go to select the same connection string. Okay, when you first create it. Emergency. Okay, so we use like this. This is the steps in your particle file. The first steps you go through this command. Then it will pop up some things that you need to follow step by step. Okay. After that, this connection strings we must have it in our web config. Okay. And then this one in our web config also. Okay. This is the one that we use membership, and the connection string is the one connection string. Okay, you can do some customizations, like you want to enable password reset or not. Okay, you want to enable password retrieval or not. Okay, you want to require question and answer or not. Okay, and this one is require unit email or not. Okay. But minimum password or not. Okay. Password format hash or not. So this is some settings that you can customize. If you don't want to customize, this one no need to put in our web configurations also can. My personal suggestion is don't put it first. Take everything by default first. Okay. When until able to run already, then you add in some things that you say you want to change it. Okay. This one is also put inside web configuration, web.config. Okay. It says that authentications, you want form authentication. That's why it says that authentications what is form. And this one in our web.config also. Okay. We can set some things like what is the form name, okay, and what is the login URL. Login URL is the one that a page with the username, login, submit button, right? Which is what is the name of that page. Okay, and we need to set authorizations to allow. We can set authorizations to allow or deny access to anonymous user. Okay, in for the files means that web form 1.axx, this is one file. Okay, so we can set to more than one file. Okay, or we can set to one directory. Directory means folder. Okay. Folder means that in one web applications, you maybe have the folder admin, okay, and folder admin you have a lot of pages, just the admin able to access to it. So in that case, okay, we can set the authorization, okay, to allow or deny the users go to this admin directory. Okay, how to set is set inside our web.config. What is the format to set? This is the format to set. Authorizations, we say we deny user, this is anonymous user. Okay, authorization. So all the users not registered under, okay, your based on your database, okay, is not allowed to access this directory or folder. Okay, so this is the configuration. Okay, after that, you say create a login page. Okay, the storage mechanism for these authentications or authorization. Okay, the form authentications enable us to store username and passwords in the web configuration or database table. Normally, we will put inside the database table. Okay. XML form. So if we need to put the username and password inside web.config, it is recommended that we hash it or encrypt it. If we put it inside the web.config file. Okay, how it looks like. Okay, this is our web.config. Okay, inside web.config under system.web, cloud system.web, right? This is XML related file format. Okay, system.web. Okay, authentication we said is form authentication, and then the form, okay, we put in the login URL, okay, and the credential password formats, okay, we can choose either you want to encrypt it or not encryption. Okay, okay, like this one. Okay. This is directly put it inside the web configuration if the web system is sharing used by one person only. Yeah, one person only. Okay, but normally when we build our web applications, right, the common way is use a database table. Yeah, common way is use a database table with the users table inside. Or if you want to make the complicated tables, this is the complicated table. Can use also. Okay, this one is the one that you use in Practical 5. Okay. Login control. ASP.NET have login control. Login control is this one. This one. We continue with this one. Under the toolbox, right, you will see some categories, right? Categories including the standards, the data, okay? And one more is login control. Inside the login control, you will see login, you will see create user visits, you will see change password, recovery, and etc. Okay. Then once you just create and drag to your web form, then you will see the login form created for you. Okay, no need to type by drag one by one the text box variables, okay, ourselves. Okay. But this one, if you use the memberships, okay, management tools, that only you use the login control. So like these logins, create users, okay, Okay, change password, password recovery. This one is included in your paragraph 5. Okay, login status, login name. Okay, login view. Okay, these are the controls under login controls, okay, categories in our toolbox. Okay, so now the demo, this one is inside your paragraph 5. Okay, during the paragraph 5, I will show you step by step. Okay. Users. Okay, so normally we have anonymous user, registered user or members, and admin, and this is the role. So inside web configuration, we can set the setting for this deny or allow access to the user, okay, or deny or allow access, okay, to the role. Okay, how to set it? We enable the user role under web, inside our web configuration under system.web. We can set role managers enable equal to true. Okay, so to enable the role. Okay, and then we might need to use some coding way because of we don't have the Windows admins tools like our Windows Server version, not Windows Desktop version. Okay. So we still able to correct rows using the code. Okay. Inside our CS file, we put in import systems.web.security. Okay, and I can use the function like this. Okay, correct what rows. Okay, get the user in rows. This is the calling way, right? Get the user in rows. Get all the rows, delete the rows, add the user to row. So these are the functions you need to use the code when you need to work with the row. Okay, I just simply show examples. This is my CS file, one of my CS file. When I need to use the row codes, right, examples, okay, inside my CS file, the first is I put in using systems.web.security. Okay. After that, okay, I get the rows, right? Okay. I use rows.getRows, okay, to text all the rows from the rows table. But this rows maybe needs those complicated tables. If no, then you need to use your custom code to text your rows, different rows of user under your own user table. And this one is taken from the row table generated by that command. Okay. So rows.get all rows. One examples. This one is membership.get all users, so it will text all the users and then put in this one. I use drop down list, so it will add all the members or all the users, okay, in my drop down list. Okay, so this one's okay. This one I select the rows. Under that rows, okay, I show okay the users under that rows. Like if I have the admin rows, admins, I maybe have more than one admin. So I use this one to shows, okay. And I use this one to shows, okay, maybe one person have different roles. I'm admin, I also a technical person, and I also managers. So under this get roles for the user, okay, it will show all my rows. Okay. What else? Two things on it. I just use the code from the slide, okay, to show how to use the code. Okay, the ones that I use is get rows for the user, and then get all rows. Continue. Okay, setting authorizations. Setting authorization is set inside web configuration under system.web. System.web, right? Okay. Okay. Infinite authorizations we allow what attribute, we deny which row or which user. Okay. So if all users, okay, we say users equal to O. Okay. If all authenticated user, anonymous users, okay, we use this one. Okay, if a specific user, then we just write the user name here. Yeah. So all members, anonymous users, one user. Okay. Or specify a rows, like which row, admin rows. Okay. So this is how it works. This is one project, right? ABCom. Okay. This is one project. We create a project, and under this project we have management folder, so that you can have a lot of management folder under this management files under this folder or this directory. We have members, okay, 2 files under members, and all others files. Okay. By default, one project you will have one web configuration. Okay. By default configuration. Okay. So like these examples, inside these web configurations, we put in authorizations under web.system. Web.system, right? Yeah. Web.system plus web.system, we put in authorization. We say we deny anonymous user, so that the whole website, web applications, only members can access. Okay, this is deny anonymous. Okay. Later in this directory, we say that we want to let management people able to access on it. So the whole folder. So under this directory, we add a new web.config. This is allowed. Okay. The whole project by default will have one web.configuration. But if we want another web.configuration under this directory, we can add an extra web configuration in this folder only. Under this folder, then we say that authorizations, we allow rows for admin to access this one. Okay, we denied all members. Yeah, so this is how we set it. Okay, so this example is a project with one web configuration. We don't want to create another configuration in this directory. We just use one only. Okay, just use one. And then all the settings we put inside this one web.config. Okay, so inside our web.config, okay, system.web, right? Okay, system.web authorizations, we deny all user, so all anonymous user. Yeah, so the whole web applications accessed by members only. Okay. After that, you want to specify management folder. So you put in one location, close location. Path is management directory. Okay. We add in a set of system.web. Authorization is allowed rows only. Deny all members. So this is how we set it. So like this also, this is your Critical 5, you will create a management folder, management directories. Not sure this one is under your critical or not. Okay, this one, you see, this one I just put in the location, okay, to purposely specify that this path order.aspx, this is order.aspx. Order.aspx denied anonymous. Okay, means that anonymous can go to other pages, but these orders only members can access. Okay, when we need to set the path for one file, we put in the file name.aspx. If you want to set for one directory or one folder, we put in the folder name. Whether you know this one, huh? Yeah, so this is for the single files. Questions no need to learn, huh? So all the settings for the authorizations can be set inside web.config. ASP, one more thing, so ASP identities. These ASP identities, another way, we have form authentication, we have Microsoft passport account, we have social account, and one more is ASP identity. This ASP identity compared with others authentication way, this one's does not support cloud like Azure's. Okay, cannot use open web interface like Organs. Okay, cannot use together with the social account. Okay, but this is the ones that replace ASP membership. That's just something to know. Okay, the feature of these ASP identities. Okay. But I never used this before, but it's good to know. Okay, the features like two factors authentication, emails, confirmations, okay, Orbit integration if you want to integrate it, okay, because of additional support, okay, social logins, okay, there should be some ways to integrate it, okay, using the OAuth technologies. The ones that's in our toolbox also not able to apply to ASP identity. But it is good to know that Microsoft has this ASP identity as well. So this is chapter 5 slides go through already. Okay. Caricals, do it next week because this week you are busy with your prototypes presentation. Okay, so I will see the groups, okay, who need to present to me today. Okay. So now, cross check, head count.